Hey guys, this is the last bit of content we're going to go over exercise 4.5. So at the moment there's been a few videos on this one because it is quite a large exercise and a lot of the skills in here will be particularly useful for those of you that go on and do that in year 12. Now, it's very similar to the stuff we've been going over in the last two videos. It's just one little slight change, one little extra step. So for those of you that remember a bit of algebra from last year, or for those of you especially that did extension maths, simultaneous equations was quite a large part of it. It's where you've got two equations and you kind of need to find where they're occurring at the same time. Now the way that they're usually formatted in this is if we take two equations, let's bust out pink, haven't used that yet. Alright, so I'm going to use general algebraic equations which can be applied to all cases. So let's say we've got this one. So at the moment it's just a bunch of letters, quite a few of them. In this case, A, B, D and E, they represent coefficients, so that's numbers in front of letters. X and Y is always there, C and F represent our answers. What we can do is we can take the information in these two equations and we can put them into matrices. What this would look like if we were to set this up as a matrix equation is this. A and B were the two coefficients in the first equation, so they're going to be put into this matrix. D and E were the coefficients in the second equation, so they're going to go down here. X and Y in these questions are unknown variables, so I'm going to put them here. Sometimes we might get an equation where they're A and B or whatever. And C and F were our two equations here. So basically, the only extra step here is taking the information and putting it into a matrix like this and then following all the steps that we did in the previous lesson. So as one example, will look like this. Alright, so we've got two equations. So solve the following pair. Alright, so what we do is we take that information and we're going to set it up like this. Once you've done that, it's just following the same steps that we've used in the previous lesson. Alright, so it's going to look like this. I'm going to write that out. Alright, so at the top, the two coefficients in the first equation, which is 2 and 3. Down the bottom here are the two coefficients in here. So here we got 4. Now this has a minus in front of it, so it's going to be -6. And this one, our unknowns are X and Y. So we write it like so. And our two answers are 6 and -4. Alright, so then what we would do is solve that normally like we've been doing in previous ones. I'll solve it now. If you feel really confident with doing this and you're quite comfortable with doing it in last lesson, you can stop the video now. If you feel like you still need some help with it, I'll take you through it. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to find the inverse of A. So right now, this is what our equation looks like. So we need to find the inverse of A before we can go any further. so first thing, AD minus BC, 2 times negative 6, 3 times 4, negative 12 minus 12 is negative 24. Alright, so that tells me that this one is going to be quite complicated when we multiply each of the elements by the inverse. The fraction out the front. This one is best done on a CAS. I will still do part of it by hand, but this one would best be done by CAS because it's very easy to make some mistakes on. So, inverse is going to look like this. Swap the elements A and D, make these negative. So this is why it'd be quite complicated. We're multiplying each of these by negative 24th, which is quite, it's doable, but it does make our life pretty tricky. I'll do it anyway. 1 over negative 24 multiplied by negative 6 is a quarter. Negative 3 is an eighth. That's a 6. And that's negative 1/12. So what this would look like is this, our x So then our last step would just be multiplying inverse of A matrix by B. I'm not going to do that by hand because there's a lot of fractions and stuff and it'll get a bit overcomplicated. Best to do that on the CAS. If you can't remember how to do that, go back and look at the CAS video and it shows you how that's done. But that's pretty much it for simultaneous equations. The only extra step there is going from here to putting it into matrix form. Hopefully you're not feeling too overwhelmed by all of this. There's only one or so more concepts left in matrices, and again it is quite a tricky one, but make sure if you are struggling, keep asking for help. If you are really having some difficulty, hopefully this beautiful dog will just brighten up your day. Look into the camera, Poppy. Say hi. Hi everyone at home. Yeah, make sure you keep asking for help on the Google Classroom.